Hello, Sugar Gliders. Welcome to our lesson on the coordinate plane. Let's go ahead and label our graph here, the coordinate plane. And as we're going through this lesson, you're going to be labeling it and learning some vocabulary words. Let's start with coordinate plane. A plane is a word that means a flat surface, and it extends in all directions infinitely. It goes on and on and on. So our graph paper right here is our plane. Coordinates are two things that go together. They coordinate. So we're going to be plotting 2 points and using this graph to show how we plot those points. So let's start with our line that goes horizontal. This one is called the x-axis. It's a horizontal line. And we have become familiar with all the integers that go on the x-axis. Right here would be our 0. Okay. And then this part right here would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are our positive integers. On the left side of 0, we have our negative integers. Notice when I'm labeling them, I'm labeling right on the lines that are going vertical up and down. So it's not inside the squares, but it's right on the line where I'm labeling. -4 and -5. So again, we're comfortable with our integers, positive numbers, negative numbers, and 0. We call that line the x-axis. Well, the line that goes vertical up and down, we call that the y-axis. So this is the vertical line. And you notice that it's going through the x-axis, and at the point where they cross right here, it's 0, which if we ordered the pairs 0, 0, I'll explain that in a minute. That is our origin. That's called the origin. That's where we start to plot all points. And then again, I'm going to label my positive and negative numbers on the y-axis. The numbers above 0 are positive, so I have positive 1, 2, 3, and 4. And again, if you notice, I wrote the numbers on the line, not inside the boxes. And below the 0 are the negative integers, -1, -2, -3, and -4. So I just created my coordinate plane. A coordinate plane, if you look at it, has 4 sections. So each of those 4 sections has a name. This section here is called quadrant 1, and we use the Roman numeral, capital letter I, for quadrant 1. The ordered pairs that fall in this section of the coordinate plane, the ordered pairs x and y. It's a pair of numbers. X and y right now are variables. We're not sure what the numbers are until I tell you what they are. But as you notice, the numbers here on the x-axis are all going to be positive. So these numbers we plot are going to go to the right. That's the positive side of 0. The y numbers we choose are going to go up because they too are positive. So if I want to plot the point 2, 2, it would fall within quadrant 1. So 2, 2 means I'm going to go to the right over 2, 1, 2, right here. And then I'm not plotting it there, I'm just showing you. Then I go up 2, 1, 2, right here. So this point here is 2, 2. It's a positive x, a positive y. It goes 2 to the right and 2 up. The next quadrant, or section of our coordinate plane, is quadrant 2. Q-U-A-D-R-A-N-T. Roman numeral 2 is 2 capital I's. And if we notice when we start plotting points here, One of them is going to be negative. So when we plot our points, we're going to have a negative x and a positive y. So negative x would go to the left on the number line. Positive y would go up. So an example of negative xy, if I put in numbers instead of variables, I could do negative 2, 2. Those are called my ordered pairs. They're a pair of numbers. I have to go in a certain order. So negative 2 goes to the left over 2, I'm right here, and up 2. So this is my ordered pair negative 2, 2. And you notice that's in quadrant 2. I'm going to plot a point in quadrant 3. So right below quadrant 2 is quadrant 3. And if you notice on our coordinate plane, we're going to go over to the left and down to get to this part of our coordinate plane into quadrant 3. So I am going to have to plot a negative x to the left and a negative y below 0. So again, to the left is the negative x and down is a negative y. So an example could be negative 2, negative 2. So go over to the left 2 and down 2, and I end right there. And that would be the point negative 2, negative 2. And finally, quadrant 4. Quadrant 4 is capital IV for Roman numerals 4. Any point that falls in this section of the coordinate plane would be a positive x and a negative y because we have to go to the right to plot the x and we'd have to go down to plot the y. So an example could be 2, negative 2. So 2 to the right, negative 2 is down, so my 2, negative 2 would be plotted right there. Now if I wanted to, I could create a figure out of these 4 points if you want to just watch because you'll be doing this later. If I were to connect each point, you could see I get a, is that a square or a rectangle? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I get a perfect square, 4 on each side. One more thing I want to tell you about plotting points. Sometimes you'll see 0, 3. If you have a 0, that means it's an x. Are you going to go to the right or to the left? Well, you're not going to go either way. You're going to stay at 0. You can see my big red 0 in the middle. And the 3 means y, and it's a positive. So I go up 3, 1, 2, 3. So this red point I'm plotting here is 0, 3. Okay, you might also see something that says 3, 0. 3 is my x, which means I have to go to the right 3. So I'll go over 3 to the right, and 0 is my y, so it's not going to go anywhere. It's just going to stay right there on that axis. So these two ordered pairs aren't in any of the quadrants because they're actually on the axes. They're either on the y-axis, like this one, because it stayed on the x, 0 was x, or it's on the x-axis. Okay, come on in with any questions you might have. Have a good night.